morning, students. In last lecture, we have seen the basic introduction part of operational amplifier. We have seen what about the basic construction features of operational amplifier, how operational amplifier will be worked, and in which type of loop or feedback mechanism we have used in our operational amplifier. Since we have also seen in that lecture the configuration of our operational amplifier, कि how much type of feedback mechanism will be effective in maintain the stability of our operational amplifier. So if we are opting the closed loop operational amplifier, how we can increase our gain of the amplifier. So now we will move towards the mathematical operations, and before starting the mathematical operations we will first study about the integrated circuit of operational amplifier. So at present we will know what is the operational amplifier. Now we will switch to the how we will construct our basic circuit diagram of operational amplifier into the integrated circuit. So basically operational amplifier is available in terms of integrated circuit. It is a very important part. So, a very brief description of integrated circuit. In last lecture, we have also seen about the what about the linear ICs and digital ICs. So today we will discuss how operational amplifiers work as a integrated circuit. So first of all, we will see op-amp. So 741 is a integrated circuit of our operational amplifier, and it is a very common ICs which is used for performing the mathematical operations. So first of all, we will see what about the 741 and why it is very popular in market. So this is basically it is a very high voltage gain. If we are opting the 741 ICs as a op-amp, the typical gain of that particular IC will provide the 10 to the power 5 or 100 dB gain for our application. So it is a very high gain operational amplifier that is provided by the 741 IC. So generally, basically, if we are talking about the operational amplifier, we have used the 741 ICs. Now we will see the basic pin diagrams. In last lecture, we have seen that there are four basic blocks of our operational amplifier. In first block, you have seen the differential amplifier, that is the dual input balanced output. In second part, you have seen the dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier, after then level shifting state, and then the amplifying state. So that four blocks are again inbuilt in a small IC that is called as a integrated circuit, and this is the basic pin diagram of our 741 operational ICs. So all that four basic building blocks are inbuilt in this small piece of our IC, and we have 8 pins provided to outside of this IC for different connections. So first of all, we will see one by one what type of pin numbering is provided here and what is the basic meaning of that pin in IC. So first of all, offset pin. First number is pin is provided to offset null pin. In this pin, what we have to do, we will see in further. 2 and 3 numbers pins are indicated the input terminals. So that is one pin number 2 is indicated as a inverting input terminals, and pin number 3 is indicated as a non-inverting input terminals. Now pin number 4 is a power supply, that is the minus power supply minus VEE, and pin number 5 is offset null condition. So pin number 1 and pin number 5, just you have to see in here, that is the offset null conditions, and further we will see the role of this pin number 1 and 5 by we are using this pin number. And again we have to see 6 pin number is indicated as a output pin terminals. Pin number 7 is again a power supply. So pin number 4 and pin number 7 is indicated as a power supply. One number pin is connected to the negative power supply, and pin number 7 is connected to the positive pin number. Pin number 8 is not connected. It is a vacant or in this 741 ICs. It means 741 operational amplifier is 7 pin ICs, but for maintaining the uniformity of pin numbers, we have designed it as a 8 pin ICs, and 8th number pin is not used in particular applications of our IC. So this is a basic. Up now we will see one by one the pin number configuration. As we have seen, pin number and 4 is the power supply, as we have to told, and these power supply is vary between the 5 volt to 18 volt. So this is a basic range in which these two pins are connected. If we are talking about the pin number 6, that is the output pin terminals, and it is also sometimes it will be the, it is given to the positive supply voltage, or sometimes it will be connected to the negative voltage supply. So according to our requirement or feedback mechanism, we are using this pin number 6. Now pin number 2, as I have already told you, that is the inverting input terminal and non-inverting input terminal, and I am again slightly revising the inverting input terminals. If you have given any supply to your inverting input terminal, the reflected 180-degree out of phase output you have to receive at the pin number 6. And if you have given any supply to the pin number 3, that is the non-inverting, you have applied at the output in phase output voltage. So this is the basic property of our pin number 2 and 3. What about the pin number 1 and 5? So because that is the basically due to irregularities in inverting and non-inverting inputs, so there may be so due to these disturbances, external disturbances, there may be slight changes in your output. So if you have not given any input voltage to your pin number 2 and 2, apart from this there may be a slight output voltage at the output. So for nullify this effect, so why we are using the pin number 1 and 5? Because you have to provide the offset null, means you have to neutralize your output voltage at the 0 volt, because you have provided the 0 volt at your input terminal, but still you are not achieving the zero output volt, because if your input are 0, your output voltage will be again 0, but that voltage will not be 0. So at pin number 1 and 5, you apply a external potentiometer, and by varying these potentiometer, we have to again apply the voltage to this ICs, and these applied voltage will be try to null the output voltage V0 at the 0. So this type of mechanism which is used to nullify the output voltage, means your requirement is to put up the V0 at the 0 volt. Output voltage should be 0. So this mechanism is called as a offset null points, and here we have to always connect a potential variable potentiometer. By applying the variable potentiometer, we can change the voltage supply of that particular pin number. Now we will again see the what is the basic standard specifications of our 741. So basically when we are talking about the power supply, that is the vary between 5 volt, minimum voltage should be 5 volt, and maximum with voltage should be 18 volt. What about the input impedance? As we know, if we are talking about the idle parameter, so this is the basic idle parameter of our 741 operational amplifier. So if we are talking about the idle parameter of operational amplifier, input impedance should be 2 mega ohms, means input impedance should be very high. As we have already seen, input impedance of operational amplifier is high and output impedance of operational amplifier will be low. So that is the input impedance is 2 mega ohms and output impedance should be 75 ohms. So this is the basic idle parameter. When we talk about the voltage gain, we have also seen the voltage gain. So that is the 10 to the power 5. Yes, sometime max to max, that is a 200 thousands for lower frequency ranges. So we can achieve such high voltage at the operational amplifier. But about the maximum output current that we can achieve from our operational amplifier, that is equal to 20 milliampere. So these are the idle parameters. Again we will recommended output load. So how you can connect output load should be greater than 2 kilo ohm. If we are talking about the input offset, so that is a basic range ki what about the input offset, what type of voltage you have to apply your input terminal and you will achieve at the output voltage V0 at the 0 volt. So there may be a slight voltage, so that is the between 2 millivolt to 6 millivolt is the range. which you can apply between your input, that it can nullify your the output voltage V0. And that is the sleeve rate, that is the rate at which an output can detect the voltage changes. So that change is the zero point 0.5 volt per microsecond. So these parameters are standard parameters or ideal parameter of operational amplifier, and in practical conditions we will achieve our parameter nearby of this ideal parameter. High in the what is the basic important properties of our operational amplifier which make it very beneficial, that is the high input impedance and very small output impedance, that makes the 741 ICs as a ideal voltage amplifier. So basically it is a voltage amplifier, and by using this voltage amplifier we can design different types of mathematical operations by using this. So since we are working on the voltage amplifier, so just we have to start from the voltage follower circuits. So what about the voltage follower circuit in transistors? When we have studied transistor in our first unit, what we have to see here, we have seen that what about the emitter follower, and this emitter follower is also used in operational amplifier, the third block stage of our block diagram. So that is basically emitter follower or voltage follower is the same thing. What type of input you have provided your input terminal, that will be reflected to your output terminal. Same thing is happened in voltage follower. So if you known as a buffer amplifier, buffer means it will not enhance or not amplify any type of voltage. It is not amplify your voltage. It is just like a buffer. What type of input you have to provide it, same output you can receive. It is just you can use it as a isolation circuit, and it is a unity gain amplifier. We can also call it as a unity gain amplifier, yeah, isolation amplifier. So the voltage follower is also known as a buffer amplifier, unity gain amplifier, yeah, isolation amplifier. And these circuits are used for if your voltage gain is equal to 1, at that particular standard condition of your operational amplifier is known as a voltage follower. So basically operational amplifier is a very high gain voltage amplifier, but when its voltage gain is equal to 1, in that particular condition it will work as a voltage follower. And this type of particular stage we have used in our third stage of our block diagram. So basically if you are taking this, the voltage gain equal to 1. So in last lecture what will happens, what type of feedback you have to taken, you have to know. We have also studied the different configurations, feedback configuration in our last lecture. So that is the voltage shunt feedback, voltage series feedback, current shunt feedback. So what type of feedback mechanism you are using, your feedback voltage gain must be unity. So V out and V in, that is equal to always 1. So if we are following this particular conditions, so at that particular condition our gain will be equal to 1. So this is called as a voltage follower circuit. So what about the now, since our after the voltage follower circuit, now we will move to the gain of non inverting amplifier. So first of all we have seen the very basic part of our non inverting amplifier. So what is the non inverting amplifier? If we are talking about the non inverting, means you have to given your supply to the non inverting terminal. And which terminal is non inverting terminal? Terminal number 3, pin number 3 is act as a non inverting terminal, as we have seen in previous slides. So you have to apply your input signal VIN at the non inverting terminal, and you have to provide it the feedback path to the again to the inverting terminal. Means we have provided a feedback connection to the non-inverting terminal, and we are using a single resistance RF and a resistance R2 for providing the feedback to our operational amplifier. So this is if we are taking some, suppose here is a flowing the I output current. So this current IF current will be feedback again given to the negative part of it. So in next slides we will see what about the how it will work out. So this is the same thing what we have to told you ki in which part we have to apply our signals and in which part we have to apply the feedback part. So this is same thing what we have to told you many times. That is the voltage divider network. So feedback control. Now you have to see there are two resistors, RF and R2. So now what will happens? What type of signal you have to apply in your negative terminal, because your feedback connection is connected to the negative terminal. And what amount of the there a RF minus R2 voltage divider network है. So again we will take small derivations of that particular voltage divider network, कि how these voltage divider network will be work out, and what amount of input signals we have to provide it to the negative input terminal. So, since this is a closed loop configuration, so again we will see here same thing is here, because this is provide a very good stability and very high input impedance. Just see here, this is the divider network. Just see here, this is the output terminal. Here you have to given your positive supply, and this is the feedback path. So what about the V1? Because this V1 signal is applied to here, this R2 resistance is grounded. So how you can calculate the voltage of V1? So first of all, we will calculate the voltage of V1, and this voltage is provided into input terminal. So just see here in next chapter, V1 that is equal to, just see in this diagram, what type of voltage drop is provided across the R2. You have also studied about the different types of circuit diagrams and how your voltage divider network, how the voltage will be divided in two resistances. We have also seen in last semester, first semester, circuit diagram, circuit analysis. If you have to given the any output voltage V0, how this output voltage V0 is divided in these two resistances, and what voltage drop is received in resistance across R2, that particular voltage V1 is applied to the negative terminal. So by using this, we can calculate the gain of our non-inverting amplifier. So again, what is the V1? V1 is the drop across R2, or what type of voltage? V out, output voltage. How much part of output voltage is dropped across the R2. So there is the R2 upon total resistance R2 plus RF into what type of voltage we have to provide it, V out. So that is the basically V1 of the basic equation. Ideal summing point V1 is equal to VIN. What will happen here if we are talking about the, so what type of input voltage you have to apply in input side, and this is the V1 is applied to here. So at particular ideal condition, we can assume that V1 is equal to VIN. So if you are talking about the total voltage gain AV, that is equal to V output upon VIN. And what is the VIN? VIN is equal to, you have to already calculate R2 upon this side. So you have to put the value of V1 is equal to Vn. So Vn is equal to, what is the V1 you have to calculate it here. So now what will you have to achieve? Total voltage gain A, that is equal to 1 plus Rf by R2. So Rf is the feedback resistance. So if you want to calculate the voltage gain, if you are in which parameters voltage gain of your non-inverting amplifier will be dependent. So this is the basic calculation part. So again I'm very slightly revise it if you are not comfortable ki what will happen. So first of all, you have to see this basic diagram. What is the basic diagram? This is the basic non-inverting amplifier. You have to calculate what type of gain. Gain is the total voltage gain which operational amplifier provides us. So in which parameter our voltage gain depends. So first of all, this operational amplifier is closed loop circuit, and you are using the voltage series connection. So when you are working on the voltage series connection, so this you have to provide the resistance RF and resistance R2. So R2 and RF is creating a feedback network, and by using this feedback network, you have provided part of your output voltage to your input voltage. So now you have to calculate the voltage of V1, which you have to, so this is point where you have to calculate the voltage of V1. So first of all, how you can calculate the V1? Because you have applying here the output voltage V0, and this V0 is divided into these two resistances. So these are the connected to the inverting input terminal of operational amplifier. So you have to first of all calculate the drop across out R2. So what is the drop across R2? R2 upon R2 upon total resistance is R2 plus Rf into V0, that is equal to V1. In ideal conditions, we assume that both are equal. In ideal symmetrical condition means VIN is equal to V1. So both are equal. So if we are talking about the total voltage gain, if you are working on the total closed loop voltage gain, so output upon input, that is equal to total closed loop voltage gain of this non-inverting amplifier. And since VIN is equal to V2, so here again what we have to show you in our this part, both are equal, so you can put the value of V1 instead of VIN. You can put the value of VIN in terms of V1. So put the value and you can receive this parameter. Means your output voltage V out or V in, that is equal to 1 plus RF by R2. RF is the feedback resistance. So this is the basically voltage gain formula of our non-inverting amplifier. Now we will again focus to the part of non-inverting voltage follower circuits. We have again study about the what is the voltage follower circuit, as we have to explain in कि gain is equal to 1. So now what will happen here? You have again design a non-inverting amplifier. So what type of conditions you apply in your non-inverting amplifier that it will work as a voltage follower? And what is the property of your voltage follower? The property of our voltage follower is voltage gain is always equal to 1. So you have to maintain your RF and R2 parameters such that voltage of that particular non-inverting parameter should be 1. Then it can be work as a voltage follower circuit. So this is the basic condition of our non-inverting. So now we will again move. What will happen here? You have to use this one. So what conditions you have to apply here? Just see here. This is the short circuit here. This is the closed loop feedback loop path. So what will happen here? What conditions you have to apply? There are two conditions. You have to reduce impedance RF to 0 and input impedance RIN has increased to infinity. Again, if we are talking about the ideal parameter, actually input impedance of operational amplifier is equal to 2 mega ohm, but in ideal condition we will assume it as a infinite. So what you have to done, RF reduced to 0. If RF reduced to 0, resistance is 0, so it will be work as a short circuit. Okay, so it will be output is directly connected to your inverting input terminal, means feedback is your 100%. There is no other division of your output voltage. VIN is exactly equal to output voltage and your gain is equal to 1. So what will again you can see in this diagram. Again, see, this is the RF is equal to 0, so it will work as a short circuit. And what about the R2? R2 is a very high resistance, infinite resistance, so it will work as a open circuit. So your RF is equal to 0 and R2 is equal to infinite. So in this particular state, our non-inverting amplifier is work as a voltage follower. So we can also make an inverting amplifier as a voltage follower. We can make our non-inverting amplifier as a voltage follower. So what is the basic condition between these two? Basically, in if you are talking about the operational amplifier, we have both conditions. You can use operational amplifier as a inverter, or you can use your operational amplifier as a non-inverter amplifier. But if you are using at a non-inverting amplifier, your input signal will be applied to the positive terminals. And if you are making your voltage follower as a buffer or voltage follower as a inverting amplifier, then you have to apply your input signal to the minus terminal. So I am starting from the non-inverting amplifier. So we have to show you this is the basic parameter in which we can operate these voltage follower circuits. So this is a very basic part of how our voltage follower circuit will work out. So this is the what I have to told you. Input voltage should be equal to, because what is the role of voltage follower? Means what type of input you have to provide it, same output you have to receive. Means there is no change in, no amplification of your input signal. Means what will happen here? A is equal to 0, means your output voltage is equal to input voltage. So this is the basically mathematical part of our voltage follower, what we have to see in our diagrams. Same thing, but we have to told you unity gain buffer. It will work as a buffer. There is no amplification. That it is just work as a isolated circuit. So where we have to use in electronics, where isolated circuits from each other. If you want to isolate two components from each other or two circuit to each other, we can provide a buffer, use a buffer as a buffer your voltage follower circuits, because it can't amplify any type of signals. Now again we will switch to the gain of inverting amplifier. In previous slides what we have to study, gain of non-inverting. Now we will switch to the inverting amplifier. So what is the property of our inverting amplifier? You have to apply your input signal at the inverting amplifier. So just slightly see this diagram. What is the happens here? We have to non-inverting terminal should be grounded, and you have to only provide it your input signal to the non to the inverting terminal, and there is a RF, R1 or R2 or R1, what type of parameters you can take. So this is the feedback circuits, this is the feedback path which is provided to you. So this is a very very small description of this. Now what will happens here, you have to done the grounding. Agar you have to done the ground section, if you have to V2 is equal to 0, and there is a similar conditions, so this terminal, this voltage should also be equal to 0. So what amount of current here will be flowing? Vin by R1. What is the value of current flowing through this particular point terminal? That is equal to Vin by R1. So this current will be flow, and whole current will be passes through the just see here, whole current will be passes through the feedback circuit. No one current is entering in here. So there is another reason we can also told is why current is not entering in the negative terminal, because we always says input impedance of our operational amplifier is very high, 2 mega ohm or up to the infinite resistance. So current will always prefer the low resistance path. So now if there is a current flowing, if current is flowing from this path, all the currents will passes through the feedback path. All currents passes through here, and no one current will enter to the this terminal. So this is the gain of our inverting amplifier. So this is the basic parameters through which we can calculate the gain. So non-inverting input terminal is connected to the ground, so means that is another terminal should also be assumed as a 0 volt. So that is the same thing what we have to told you in our diagram. Again we have to show him how you can calculate the value, how you can calculate the voltage across R2. So just see here again the diagram, where is the R2, so here is the R2. So you have to, you can calculate the drop across this one, because here is nothing, this one is equal to 0 volt, and what type of voltage drop is here, that is equal to your output voltage. So just again we can calculate V output, that is equal to, what is the value of V output, voltage drop across R2, that is equal to what type of input, R2 upon R1. So this is the divider circuit. Voltage drop across R2, that is equal to this one. Okay. So if we are talking about the R2 is at 0 volt, so what will happen? Left side of R2, we are assuming it as a 0 volt. So what will happen? Since current is flowing from left to right, voltage on the R2 must be lower than the voltage on the left side. Voltage should be. So here is again V output, that is equal to, what is the here, V1 minus Vin R2 upon R1, and V1 is equal to 0 because we have put the value of V2 to the ground. So if V2 is 0, V1 is 0, and this is the V output, that is equal to R2 by R1 minus time of R2 by R1, or sometimes since you can also told it as a RF by R1. So what is the RF? RF is the feedback resistance. So in last lecture what you have to see, closed loop voltage gain of non-inverting amplifier, that is equal to 1 plus RF by R1, and closed loop voltage gain of inverting amplifier, that is suppose we are want to V out by V in. So if you are want to take it the V out by Vin, that is equal to minus RF by R1. So this is the two parameters ki how your operational amplifier will work as a inverting, and how your operational amplifier is work as a non-inverting. So you have to always remember the voltage gain of your non-inverting amplifier and voltage gain of your inverting amplifier. So again we will revise what is the voltage gain of your non-inverting amplifier, that is equal to 1 plus RF by R1, and what about the voltage gain of your inverting amplifier, that is equal to minus time of RF by R1. So that is a basic part of our voltage gain calculated by this. Now in both the system we have to see that how our system is working, means you have to see in once at a time. Inverting amplifier means one time you are using the input, means you have to given the signal only one input terminal, either inverting or not inverting. But if you are working on the difference mode, so what will happens here, this is the mathematical operation. So if you are working on the difference, so you have to move to the difference amplifier, as we have to already seen in our differential amplifier, which is made of a transistor. Here now we will discuss about the when we are using the IC 741 IC, so what type of role or calculations will be done in operational amplifier. So just see here, just very slightly see here, very, this is the V1, this is the V2. You have to apply this V1 into the inverting terminal. You will apply V2 to the non-inverting terminal. This is the resistance R1, this is the resistance R2, R3, R4. You can give any type of indications to your resistance value. So just I have show you. What about up now, what type of work features you are seeing here. Basically R1, R2, R3, so we will put a certain conditions ki R1 and R2 is equal to 0, and R3 and R4 equal to 0. So now what will happen when you have to conclude part, so you have to maintain some symmetrical situations, symmetrical conditions in our, so suppose this is a V1 and this is a V2. So what will happen here, just see here, this is you have to apply the KCL. What is the KCL? KCL is the Kirchhoff's current law, means incoming currents is equal to the outgoing current. So just see here, V1 minus V2, that is equal to, so you have to V1 voltage, that is a you have to indicate here any type of VA, VB. So you can indicate VA, VB, name of that particular point. So here there is a little bit so VA minus VB, VA minus V1 divided by R1, that is equal to a current of a particular current I1. In this both the terminals current will not enter. Why current will not enter? Because again we have to told you, input resistance of our operational amplifier will be very high. So if input resistance of our operational amplifier will be very high, so now what will happens there, क्या होगा वहां पर, no current will be flowing to this terminal, whole current will be passing through this feedback resistance. So now here current of incoming current, that is equal to this one current VA minus V0 upon R2. So summation of these two voltage, that is equal to 0. So here we are applying the Kirchhoff's current law, and since VA and VB both are equal, VA and VB, we have again saying you ki both are always equal by using the symmetrical condition. Since both are equal, so what is the value of VB? VB value is equal to the drop across R4. R4 के across जो भी what type of drop with respect to ground, generally we will measure the out voltage with respect to ground. So R4 is connected to ground. So what type of drop here is R4? That will be equal to VB, and VB is equal to VA. So you can conclude these two parts. So first of all, you have to calculate the voltage VB, or that is equal to the VA. So VA and VB both are equal to drop across R4. So you have to calculate the drop across R4, and here this resistance is connected to the supply voltage of V2. So now what will happen? What time V2 current is divided, V2 voltage is divided into two resistances. So drop across R4, that is equal to R4 upon total resistance, that is equal to R3 plus R4. So that is again a potential, as we have seen in our previous slide, potential divider network. And by using the potential divider network, we have to calculate the voltage across the R4 resistance, and that resistance is equal to the VB, VB के equivalent है. Are you getting my point? Now you have to calculate the voltage V2. So what is the value of V2? So you can put the value of, so here what will happen here? You have to maintain the similarities. So output voltage, now what will happen? What will happen in inverting? You have to apply your signal V1. So how you can calculate here? This is the same part. So again we will apply this V2. What is a V2? VA, VB, okay, and this is a V output voltage, and this is a V1, and this is a V2. So you have to calculate your V2. So you have to given the voltage of V1, so you can calculate the V1 in terms of V2. So just we have to calculate the this characteristics. You can calculate the VA and VB. This we will calculate. Okay, we have to given this V2, and since we are applying the voltage at the non-inverting terminal, so our gain is equal to 1 plus RF by R1. So instead of RF, here we are indicating as a R2. So what will happen here? Your gain, your non-inverting input signal gain is equal to 1 plus RF by R1. So this is the total resistance value. You can cancel out here, and now you will receive the minus RF by R1 V2 minus V1. So what will happen here? This is the voltage gain, output voltage V output, RF by R1 at the V2 minus V1. So now what will you have to see here? How it is equivalent to in differential mode. In our lectures, you have also seen inverting mode, how the operational amplifier work in inverting mode, how the operational amplifier is work in non-inverting mode, and now we are studying about the differential mode. And when we can calculate or derive our equation in differential mode, this is the last conclusion part of V output by V in, that is equal to RF by R1 minus time of. So this will equal to the inverting side, means if we are talking about the signal, he differential amplifier is work as a inverting amplifier, because if you are working on the inverting amplifier gain is equal to minus RF by R1, and if you are working on the differential configuration mode means you have to given the input signal to the both input signals, not only one. So at that particular conditions, when you have to apply your potential divider network, your gain is equal to again minus RF by R1. So what will happen here? Both are equal. Gain of both is equal. So this is the basically, you can also see in this diagram, you have to apply V1, V2 signal, VA and VB. This is the output voltage. This is the same diagram. We can calculate the different types of voltage. VA and VB is equal. What we have to see in last slides. At particular summing point, both are equal. So VB is equal to V2 by this. And what about the V2? V2 is equal to minus V1 by R3 by R1. So whole voltage VB, that is equal to V2, and V2 is equal to 0. So this is equal to this one path. But we have to prove you, and both are equal to this side. So now what will happen here? Once again we have to told you, means differential amplifier or operational amplifier in differential mode work as a non-inverting inverting amplifier, because gain is equal to minus RF by R1. Matlab gain is depend on the feedback resistance and internal resistance of R1. So this is the basic point. Ki what is the so we will again just slightly conclude all the things in this lecture. What part we have to cover, and in further lectures we will see in how these three types of mode are used in making a different operations. Some are summing amplifier, subtracting amplifier, integrator, differentiator. So since in this lecture we will not start from the summing amplifier, so we will conclude here. Your operational amplifier is work in again three different mode: inverting amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, and differential amplifier. In previous slides we have studied about the these three modes in the open loop gain. But now in this lecture, today's lecture, we are discussing these three modes: inverting, non-inverting, and differential amplifier in a closed loop gain. So this is the construction. Ki first of all, our op-amp is again divided into open loop and closed loop. So in today lecture, we are completely focused on the closed loop system. And what will happen in closed loop system? In closed loop system you have a feedback network, and where you are using the resistances of RF and R1, and by using these resistance, feedback resistance, you will provide the feedback part to the input, and stability of our operational amplifier and gain, high gain of our operational amplifier will be maintained. So this is the basic feature of these in these three modes which we have to use in our operational amplifier. So now in further processing, when we are study about the summing amplifier, then we study about the integrator, differentiator circuit. So we have to see in just in which particular mode you are to working. So we basically sometimes some applications are working on the inverting terminals and some applications are working on the non-inverting terminals. So there is nothing else according to our applications we can work out in our. If you want to design a summing and subtractor, if you want to, because inverting terminal is invert the output signal, so there is a requirement if you have to work out, if you have to want the adder and subtractor, so there may be different mode. But if you want to make a combined addition and subtraction simultaneously, then you have to work out in differential mode, because in differential mode you have to two options. Either you have to two options means you have to give your supply to the both the inputs. So what type of supply you are giving to the positive and non-inverting terminal, that may be added, and what type of supply you are giving to the non-inverting terminal, that will be the subtracted. So this is the basically the concept behind the designing a adder and subtractor. We have to work out in a differential mode what type of mode we have to study, and that difference amplifier mode is worked out in the inverting mode, just like a equal to the inverting mode. So this is our features in which we have to study how our amplifier is work out. In next lecture we have to see the further process. So before closing this lecture, we will just slightly move to our slightly objective which we have to told you in our duration of our lecture. So first of all, what is the property of our operational amplifier and which type of signals it will amplify. Again, with 0 volt on the both the input, but either should have output. I have already told you null voltage, yeah, offset null conditions. So why we are providing the offset null conditions? There may be also existing. So what is the ideal conditions when your both the inputs are zero? What should be the output at the ideally, not practically? So you have to just read it properly, and then you can judge ki, yeah, what will happen. Just I have to show you the null off conditions. Or again, when you are working on the negative feedback path, what is the output? Yeah, what will happens to your feedback path circuit? So you have to just common mode voltage gain. We have to also told you what is the common mode, what is the differential mode. If both the input signals are equal, that will be particular called as a common mode configurations, and both are different, so that will be the differential mode gain. So you have to slightly remember ki how it will be work as what is the, you have to again see in the different stage of your operational amplifier. So what is the first stage of your operational amplifier, I will again revise in this lecture. Again, input offset current. So what is the input offset current, in which part of your current is called as a input offset current, that is also related to today's lecture. Ideal operational amplifier, so you have to remember which property is similar to your ideal, what type of output impedance, what type of input impedance is provided by your signals. So that is the basically the property of your common mode signal is applied. Generally, if you are working on the common mode configuration, so you have to use one input terminal or you have to use the two input terminal, you have to also remember. So this is also again a feature of our input mode configurations. Now we will also use the amplifier part. We have also give you the two questions on the amplifications, because you have to know what type of forward biasing, what type of reverse biasing is used in our amplification circuits. So if you are working on the, when we have to study in first unit, we have to use ideal transistor property in designing a operational amplifier. So you have to also know the basic property or basic configurations in which our amplifier are work out. So which type of forward bias transistor is used when you want to make a amplifier. So in which configurations your transistor have to work out, because you are also use transistors in designing a operational amplifier. So when you want to design a operational amplifier, you are at initial level starting from your transistor. So again, you have to know in which particular conditions transistor are working as a amplifier. So which common configuration is very popular when designing a amplifier. So I think it will be very useful. You have to also know when transistor is work as a open circuit and when transistor is work as a closed circuit. So this is a basic questions, objective questions in which you have to much focus. So once you have to read complete PPT, you have to know the basic working criteria of your system, then you can easily answer that particular objective questions. So I think it will be clear to all these questions to you properly कि how our operational amplifier is work in three different modes. So in last lecture we have covered the open loop operational amplifier, and today lecture we have complete the complete closed loop operational amplifier. And again we have to see in three different modes and gain, what type of gain is provided by these three different modes. So I think it will be cleared all things to you. So now, okay.